Right. Hello and welcome to Donkey Channel. I've been enjoying jamming around on that piece. It's a good study for bar chords, and I blew my right eardrum out about a month ago, trying to recover from that. An unfortunate circumstance that has nothing whatsoever to do, in principle, with a Puukko handle made from a Pine-Bur. A curious item, not perhaps showing up as a very beautiful thing right now on the camera. Let me just dunk this in my tea quickly. Definitely got interesting features. There wasn't just quite enough to get a completely clean piece out, and so part of that issue is this here, kind of missing a bit. So I've been pondering how to deal with that. And in any case, the handle is a bit short and could, kind of use a bolster type thing. And I feel like something dark, And so I've been pondering, should I stack some, should I put some colored rings in there? Should I this and that? And rummaging through my box of bits, I've got all this kind of different kinds of woods that I could use. This is a piece of mountain laurel with some spalting in it. This is a piece of walnut, and I think I might well use this just to make that missing bit there. Just because it kind of looks like it wants to already. This might be a remnant from Captain Electro's knife. Here's a nice piece of oak. It's just got some good stuff going on in there, and rock solid. But naturally, I settled on cherry burl. Got a few pieces of cherry burl, random bits. And I came upon this bit that it's been sanding a little bit, and it looks like it's about the right size, and it's definitely got some cool figuring in it. So now I'm contemplating my procedure, because now to make a piece that sits here and then attach it, and that it's all lined up, that's very obviously disastrously difficult. It would be more easy to say just glue this on there and then shape it, but I would need a quick, I think there's really no way to clamp that on there, So I would need a quick acting glue, and then a quick acting glue will tend to leave, like super glue. Or I have some 2-minute epoxy that might work, but that will tend to show a line, a shiny line. If you have natural wood and you buff it up, it won't get quite as shiny as that shiny line. That shiny line will always show forevermore I don't like that so much. Tight bond, on the other hand, will make an invisible union, or even if it's not a perfect union, you can use tight bond and sawdust based filler, and that won't have that shininess to it. It will be more matte. And so, yeah, then my idea. So, also this, it seems really very strong, comparably hard even to this cherry burl. I can't seem to mar it much with a fingernail, so it's way, way harder than your regular pine kind of trunk wood. It's another thing. But even so, I don't know how solid it is, and since this is going to be an epoxy job, definitely, because I'm going to be using this for blade stock, and it doesn't have enough of a tang to go all the way through and make a mechanical fitment. So I'm thinking to just drill this out oversized so it can have a nice well in there of solid epoxy. Otherwise, maybe later I'm using the knife, pushing hard, there's a bit of flex, and it'll start to kind of dig its way into this wood. If it's a precise fit, might start to what's the word? Deform the tang well in the handle. So yeah, I'm thinking now, just dig a nice big oversized hole that the tang can sit in and have room to wiggle around, and then make this into the fitted part. I'll get a tight fitment on this, especially up at whatever I'm thinking this is going to be the top here, because then I can take advantage of that to have a little sway back out, not nearly like this dramatic, right? But just take advantage of that, because I expect it should show in the final form, which to that point, for example, this feature here was in the original burl. Basically, the original burl was kind of blah, 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 blah. And the largest knobbly bit was kind of stuck out here at the end, very pronounced. So I kind of cut through them there, and the witness marks are still there, in the discolored part. Here was closer to the surface. There was still fairly close to the surface. There was a bulge here. There was a bulge there, or maybe two here. Yeah, and then this knobbly bit. So that's how I couldn't really just take the burl and then grind it into a rectangle box shape on a grinder and then trace out my lines and then da-da-da-da-da. No, I kind of have to seek the handle within the piece. And now it is kind of oversized in this direction. It's still very thick. So here's just a pocket knife with pocket clip for comparison. It's practically twice as thick as this. And this is a knife that I've just been testing, carving this. It's a little more on the slicey side, but does whittle very nicely as a kind of a finishing knife, just to take off the lines. Okay, I run out of space now on my memory, so I'll sign off. Thanks for watching.